News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moskow.
Karen, we begin with the latest developments on the trade front between the U.S. and China. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is proposing a longer pause on high tariffs on Chinese goods. That would be in return for Beijing putting off its recently announced plan to tighten limits on critical rare earths. As heard live here on Bloomberg Radio, Bessent spoke at a Washington news conference.
Right now, we are currently in a 90-day roll on the tariffs. So is it possible that we could go to a longer roll in return for a delay? Perhaps.
And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says there's a very good chance he travels to Asia to meet with his Chinese counterpart, Vice Premier He Lifeng.
And let's turn to a Bloomberg exclusive now, Nathan. Sources say Chinese hackers accessed classified UK computer systems for more than a decade. We go to London and get the details with Bloomberg's James Wilcock. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Karen and Nathan. Politicians in Westminster are locked in a very public row about if China should be designated a threat to national security. Now, former British security officials tell Bloomberg exclusively that hackers from China have been successfully accessing classified UK data for a decade. It includes private communications, diplomatic communiques, and policy documents. China's officials have not responded to Bloomberg's request for comment, but the story is part of a broader debate about cybersecurity global risks, with US IT firm F5 blaming Chinese hackers for a recent hack that compromises many Fortune 500 companies. In London, James Wilcock, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, James, thank you. And CEOs around the world, including Apple's Tim Cook, are expected to meet with top trade Chinese negotiator He Lifeng in Beijing this week. Sources say the executives are part of an advisory board for Tsinghua University's School of Economics and Management that typically gathers every year. The sit-down comes at a critical time in bilateral ties, with the U.S. calling for a response from other nations to China's curbs on rare earths that were announced last week.
Let's get the latest now, Nathan, on the government shutdown. The White House has promised to use the spending fight on Capitol Hill to lay off thousands of federal workers. But a federal judge in San Francisco has put those plans on hold. Judge Susan Ilston's decision means more than 30 federal agencies cannot send new layoff notices if they involve programs that affect unionized workers. About 4,100 employees have received pink slips so far. The ruling came hours after White House Budget Director Russell Vought said the layoffs could reach 10,000.
Think of Green New Deal programs at the Department of Energy. Think the Minority Business Development Agency at Commerce that divvies up business grants on the basis of race. Think environmental justice at EPA.
And White House Budget Director Russ Vought spoke on the Charlie Kirk Show. Judge Ilston says it appears the Trump administration is taking advantage of the shutdown to assume all bets are off and the laws don't apply to them. She set a hearing for October 28th.
Well, meanwhile, Karen, President Trump has confirmed a report in the New York Times that he's authorized covert CIA action in Venezuela to ramp up pressure on President Nicolas Maduro.
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy.
And speaking in the Oval Office, the president said he also authorized the operation because a lot of drugs are coming in from Venezuela. The U.S. has already hit a half dozen boats in the southern Caribbean that the administration says were carrying drugs. The Times report says the CIA is now authorized to carry out lethal operations in Venezuela. Asked if agents have the authority to take out Maduro, President Trump said that would be a ridiculous question to answer.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moskow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.